Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new playthrough of Arthenex Plays Thea the Awakening. I'm going to take just a minute to tell you a little bit about this game. Thea the Awakening is a brand new early access game on Steam that came out a couple weeks ago now. And normally I don't play early access games because I find that I'm just... For the most part, most of the games that come out on early access, I'd rather just wait for them to be finished. However, this is a little bit of an unusual situation in that I don't have a lot of games I'm super excited about playing right now, and when I saw Thea, I was immediately super excited about playing it. So I decided to make an exception and show you guys a little bit of Thea the Awakening, or perhaps a lot of Thea the Awakening, depending on how popular it is. From what I've seen, this game is right up my alley. Just a quick note, I would like to show you guys the music in this game because I think it's really cool. I have contacted the people who created the music and asked them for permission to use it in these videos, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So until they let me know, we're going to have to go without the game sounds since there's no actual... settings, obviously, since this is an early access game. I can't just turn off the music, so I have to turn off all of the game sounds for Thea, which is unfortunate because the music is really cool. But in the meantime, hopefully, my commentary will provide you enough of a soundtrack to keep you entertained. Anyway, as for what the game is, it is a... what's the best way to put it? It's a combination of a turn-based grand strategy game like Civilization and a survival game like, I don't know, This War of Mine, or the Shelter, or the one when you play in a bunker. Anyway, you control... it's played on a map, which you'll soon see, that looks a little bit like the Civilization map. However, you are controlling a very, very small group of people. Generally, on normal difficulty anyway, you start with just 10 people and a couple of kids, usually. And your goal is to survive because Thea the Awakening is set in a post-apocalyptic fantasy world. So if that sounds familiar, it's because it's very similar to games like Fallen Enchantress and what's the game that I just played? Overlord? Evil Sorcerer King. That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you. Sorcerer King, where you take a typical fantasy world and then you turn off the sun for 100 years, and then you get Thea the Awakening, supposedly. Although I don't really understand how anything could survive in a world where there's been 100 years without sunshine. I think pretty much everything would be dead. But in this game, there's at least a few things that are still alive. Apparently, humanity has been hibernating for the last 100 years or something, or at least a few people have. So you've got 10 survivors and a settlement, and you have to have them survive in this world that's overrun by evil magical creatures and the remnants of other civilizations. All right, so let's just get it started and you can kind of see how it works. So at the beginning of the game, you've got 2 heroes unlocked. So I have this Velis guy, and you can see here my villagers get, if I start with him, my villagers get a +3 armor bonus during challenges versus disease, curses, and intellect, which... so he's the keeper of the underworld, master of mystical powers, and guardian of souls. And this is supposedly who you are in the game, but from what I've seen, mostly you play as the humans, and this is just kind of the god that they happen to worship. So anyway, he's the Lord of the Underworld. He gives my people some bonus armor against some evil spells and diseases. And then we have Mokosh over here, which gives, let's see, so she's the deity of Earth, and she would give all of my villagers a +1 bonus on gathering. Well, of those two, this one seems pretty situational. This would be pretty cool, I think, but we haven't unlocked that yet. We haven't, since this is the first game I've ever played of this. I'm not obviously completely blind. I've watched a couple of Let's Play videos on YouTube, and I've read up some stuff, but I haven't actually played this myself yet, so this seems more generally useful to me than this. So we'll start with Mokosh here. And so we can choose our village focus. In other words, what are most of the people in our village going to be? We'll stick with warriors. We'll set the... Wow, that's a huge world. We'll set the world size on normal. And we have difficulty settings here. We'll just play on normal for my first ever game. So let's hit play. And then as soon as it finishes loading, I will show you the world. This is... I don't believe, I mean, you can save your game one game at a time, but I don't believe you can have multiple save files. It's kind of that kind of has that roguelike element. This game has a lot of elements from a lot of different other genres. So I'm really looking forward to trying it out. It's also got a fairly interesting combat system, which I'm looking forward to trying out. It seems it's not... perhaps not graphically very impressive, but it seems like it has a lot of depth. It's kind of a card-based system. So a few things that you should be aware of. Oh, okay, so here we have the introduction story. So I'm not going to play the tutorial. Yeah, I'm not going to play the tutorial, because I think I can figure out, I think I know how to play the game already. So he's asking us to craft him 2 warhammers that are blunt weapons. Once you have them, leave them in your village, and I may pop back in and give you a reward. Remember, this is not something you have to do now, just whenever you're ready. Remember to check the magical help button to read more. Okay. Craft 2 warhammers and leave them in the village. So, that gave us a bunch of experience. So here we have our settlement. So, and I can, oh, and even though I skipped the tutorial, that's much faster. Awesome. So there's no mini-map, but at least that is a little bit of a faster way to scroll around the map. Okay. We can zoom in and out. Yes. We can click on an expedition to select it. So we've got an expedition here that we can select. It has 5 people in it. And here we have our village, which has, we can look at equipment, inventory, manage, or new expedition. So if we look, so we'll hold off on that. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a quick look up here, and you can see we have in our village we have a source of vegetables. So one of the things that you have to do in this game is gather resources and use them to craft equipment and food and other things for your village. You can never have another village. That's one of the that's what keeps this from being a super strategy game. There's no expansion in this game. You start with 10 people. You occasionally will get a couple more throughout the course of the game, but you're never going to get a ton of people in this game. And you're never going to found another settlement. So you kind of got to work with what you have. If you need resources that are not near your settlements, and since if we look at our settlement, the only resources that are near our settlement are basic wood and vegetables. So if I'm going to need more resources than that, I'm going to have to send villagers out to get them myself. So anyway, so here, the way you gather resources is by going here to the gather screen. And here you can see we can set gather tasks for our villagers. Now, since we have the 2 resources available here, those are the 2 resources we can actually get, wood and vegetables. And then we have 4 people here who can actually get them. You can see they each have 2 skills that are potentially available for doing tasks. These are gathering, which is the basket, and crafting, which is the hammer. Those are the 2 skills that are relevant for tasks. However, there are many, many other types of skills that we can look at. In fact, if I go, for example, to my expedition here, and open this up, we can see down here we have character attributes. So you can see this person, for example, has 6 craft. She's not in the village currently. But if I were to move her back into the village, then I would be able to take advantage of her 6 crafts. She also has all of these other skills, abilities, and attributes. So she's got 5 armor, which comes from Dark Pendant, 4 Faint, 2 Folklore. I'm not actually sure where the armor is coming from. So I can look at, presumably those will filter the skills that are available to me. She's got 3 poison. So she's a craftsman. 2 leech, 9 speech. So she has all of these skills that will, in addition to just crafting and gathering, she has also a bunch of skills that will help her when she gets into challenges out in the world. All right, so then we also have Thalabor over here. You can see he's a medic. Lower chance of dying or wounds for fellow travelers. Like, they especially appreciate the companionship of warriors. So if we look at him, he does not have any crafting, but he does have 5 gathering. Then over here we have Zoska. She's a warrior. She has tons of armor and damage, probably a lot of it because she has a bunch of equipment, but she does not have any crafting and very, very little gathering. Then we have Nivko over here, another warrior. So he's using a polearm, which, if I click on, let's see. Armored arm. Interesting. All right, so can I look at the equipment? Yeah, here we go. So arms a man. Armed with an armored arm, an arms man is like an army. That's pretty cute. So here we can see the materials that were used to make this, and here we can see its stats. It gives 8 damage and has 5 defense. It has no special abilities, it looks like. Here, this one is a staff. Because it's a polearm, the attacker holding a polearm weapon is placed before the last played offensive card. So something to keep in mind, that since Nivko has a polearm, when I play him, he will jump in front of the other person who... This one is not a polearm. So we have one person who's using a polearm. Okay, good to know. We also have... So this gives him 1 dexterity. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is kind of look through these guys and see. So this is another warrior, and this is another warrior. So in this party, we have 1 craftsman. So can I examine these? Maybe I can't do that from this screen. Maybe I have to go to inventory. Yeah, so if I go to inventory, now I can actually look and see and get details on so she has some pretty good speech. So leech, interesting. Folklore. So it's good to have somebody in your party that you send out that has good folklore. So we got 5 people in there. Let's take a look at, and then we have 4 people there. Oh no, 6 and 4. We had 6 people here and 4 people here. So let's take a look at these 4 people. So we got Vladislav. He's a craftsman. He's got stealth, not nearly as much folklore as our other craftsmen. Okay, we have Barbara here. She is a gatherer. Intelligence, he has some perceptions. And some traps. Okay, we have Zohra here. She is a warrior. So we have one warrior in our animal kinship. Interesting. Range damage. Herbalism. Dexterity and stealth. She does not have very much health, however. And then we have Vaklava here, who is another gatherer. So we have our one craftsman, two gatherers, and our village. We only and we had what, one craftsman in our scouting party. Yeah. So what is her craft? Her craft is 6. So, however, I think she has our best folklore skill. So if I'm going to leave a warrior behind, I'm not sure I want to leave the one that has the animal skill behind. What are his skills? Oh, he's our medic. We got to take him. Since he has 10 health, she has some sneak. She's just a massive. She's 17, 20 armor and 17 damage. So he has 15 damage and 13 armor. Not quite as powerful. 2 intelligence. She has 4 gathering. She might be more, let's see, she has 5 tactics. Okay. What about him? 13 damage, 11 armor, 3 gathering, 2 tactics. 3 poison to 14 defense. I'm looking for kind of the character that I'm gonna, because I kind of would like, since he has some couple of unique skills. Oh wait, he's a gatherer. I don't want to send him out. He has a couple of unique skills, range damage and animal kinship. I'd kind of like to send him out. And he has 23 damage and 19 armor too. I'd kind of like to send him out with the expedition. Since he has 3 gathering. So I'm going to create, I'm going to close this. I'm going to create a new expedition. And yeah, I'm going to put him in expedition. Then I'm going to move the expedition here. Can I move it there? Oh, that's that one. I want to move this one. Yeah. That didn't work. No. No. Yes. How do I move this? Expedition 2. I would like you to move here. Alright, maybe I'll move this one. Okay, so I move that one back in there. Now, can I... Let's go ahead and just have everybody join the town. And then I will create a new expedition. from all 10 of my members. That seems like the best thing to do. Okay, so we've got... We wanted to take her since she has the best folklore. So we want to take her. We want to take our healer. And then which 4 warriors did we want to take? So she's a gatherer. We wanted to take the one that has animal kinship. So we want to take her. We want to leave one that has decent gathering. So he has 1 gathering, 3 gathering. She has 4 gathering. Oh, yeah, she has 4 gathering. She's a warrior. She has a lot of tactics. She has a decent amount of health, but not that much defense. Maybe we'll leave her. And we'll take... We'll take them. So we're going to leave Mila behind instead of Zana. Yeah, I like that better. All right, now we're going to give them lucky button properties, 2 armor. Okay, we're going to give them all of these, and we're going to give them a bunch of fuel. We'll keep 1 fuel in our party, in our town. So yes, we start with 2 children. Eventually they'll give us, that will make us more people. And then we need a bunch of food. So we'll take most of this, a bunch of this meat anyway. Maybe like 70 meat. That gives them 11 days worth of supplies. Okay. And they still have plenty of inventory space left. All right, so that looks good. We'll create this expedition. Now we can move up to here. So normally you have 5 movement points. We used 1 to go back to our starting town to redo our expedition members. Now we can come up here and explore. This treasure chest means there's something here that we can explore, but without necessarily having to fight. So we do that by clicking on this green arrow. We stumble across some ruins of an old city engulfed in mist and mystery. So search, this is tells us that we could have a potentially level 1 encounter here. And we'll definitely do that. We open one of the buildings, a strange-looking stone and metal-built affair, and you hear a clanking noise, then a blunt thud. Within seconds, the streets of the city are filled with walking skeletons. All right, so we got our first fight. So we're obviously we're not gonna do auto combat. This gives us a preview of the skills and tactical abilities that are potentially useful, and also kind of runs over our icons. So this tells us blunt weapon. All damage remaining after killing an opponent is then dealt to a second opponent. So blunt weapons carry over to 1 extra opponent. We don't have any blunt weapons, unfortunately. We do have some pole arms, which means that he's played before the last offensive card played. We also have poison and leech in our party. So poison damage does extra damage to wounded creatures. Hopefully they won't have enough life for that would be relevant. And leech allows you to regain health equal to the damage ability you do. All right, so let's begin combat. So this tells us, so in this combat we have 3 people who came up as tactics and 3 people who came up as fighters. Now we can choose, oh, you know what, we forgot to equip our party before we came in here. We can choose to reshuffle these. If we don't like the ones that we got as fighters, we can choose to reshuffle them. If we do, well, then we'll have to discard one of them. But we will not do that right now. So hopefully these guys won't be too tough. So we got a rat and a skeleton. So the skeleton was a tactics card. So the skeleton is confused. That means he won't be able to do anything on the first turn of combat. So what I think I'm going to do is play my polearm guy because that should move him in front of the skeleton. So I'm going to play my polearm guy. And you can see I can also play one more card. Yeah, so normally he would play next in the order, but because he has a polearm, he goes before. So hopefully he'll be able to attack the skeleton twice before this, or at least once, because he might go after the rat before the skeleton attacks him. And then, so the skeleton does 12 damage. He looks extremely vulnerable. So now I want to use him to do a protect ally to give him some armor, because he currently doesn't have any armor, which seems poor, because he's going to be potentially taking a fair bit of damage. So we're going to do a, we don't have a counter tactic ability, so we'll do a protect ally on him and give him some armor. And then we're out of cards to play, so we press the end turn button and let them go. And then they'll play another card. So they're going to play another rat. They have 2 cards left to play. Only 1 fighting card, however. So I think I should probably get another fighter down. That rat does not do very much damage. So let's get this fighter down before the last card that they play. Oh, and I can play another card. You know what I'd like to do is do this. I think that will help a lot. Move her up to the front so she'll go first. She doesn't have any defense either, but let's do that. So we'll do first action on her. That's all the cards that we can play. So now it's them. So they played another rat. Okay, now he is unfortunately very vulnerable. So, and he also does almost no damage. He's our medic, if we recall. So let's go ahead and play him. And let's see, we could do a protect ally. Or we can't do a first action on him. He's too high level. We could do a confuse on one of the rats so that they don't attack this turn. Problem is he's kind of worthless. And he's going to take a bunch of damage if we don't do something. So let's protect ally him. Oh, we're out of cards, so we have to let them play their last card. So yeah, they're going to play. He's going to play that. Yeah, so let's definitely protect ally him. Give him some armor. All right, so then the fight actually starts getting resolved. So it goes from left to right. So she kills him. He's going to damage the skeleton. And then he's going to take damage from those 2, but he had enough defenses that didn't actually do any real damage. Now we go to the second phase. So now both of them are going to attack. She killed the skeleton before it could go. He killed the rat. The rat did 1 damage to him. He did not quite finish off the rat. So now we go into a second round. Since the combat didn't end in 2 phases, they only have 1 card left, though, so it doesn't really matter what we do. We don't have to reshuffle. We can keep in play. So he's going to play his rat, and then we can use our polearm guy, which will automatically jump in front of it. And yeah, so this, I mean, almost doesn't even matter what we do at this point. Because he's going to kill the rat before the rat gets to go. But, you know, just to be on the safe side, we can confuse it so it doesn't get to act in the first round. Play him. And all he can do is get closer. Wow, he's kind of useless, isn't he? Presumably, he helps people heal faster. He's level 4. He's like the highest level guy I have in my party. I should take a closer look at him, see what other abilities he has. All right, so we killed the rat. We've won the fight. We didn't take any damage. And so we search the ruins, and we find some bone spike armor, a whole bunch of food, some amber, and then a bunch of crafting materials, which is awesome. So we'll take this stuff and we'll leave. We also get 2 experience and 1 research point. Is what that is. So you can see we haven't unlocked any research yet, but we have unlocked some experience. So I believe... so here, if we go down here, we started with 1 research point, so we can unlock 1 thing in our tech tree over here. We already have, this shows us that we already have cooked meals unlocked. So we got 3 menus: crafting, construction, and gathering. And I would really like to be able to craft some armor. To make sure that all of my people have armor. I'd also like to be able to craft some tools. But we start off, we start off being able to craft. Do we? Clubs, staves, jewelry, light armors, one-handed swords. Yeah, I think we start off being able to craft tools. And we start off being able to build pastures. From time to time, apart from the expected vegetables, a baby is found among the cabbages. That's hilarious. Increases health regeneration. All right. What is this? Amber. And this is iron. Well, I think, so when you choose one of these, you get a little bit of that resource. But instead of going for resources right away, I think I'm going to choose light armors. So in order to craft these, so this shows us what we need to craft them. So in order to craft them, we need that sack looking thing or some yarn. And then secondary material, we need bone, wood, the sack looking thing, or metal. And then catalyst, we need yarn or the sack looking thing. So what is that sack looking thing? We should make sure that we can get that. That is leather. Okay. So we need so we're going to need leather, lots of the leather or yarn. Can we gather yarn yet? Yeah, we can. What is this? String. Lots of leather or string. So let's go ahead and I'm going to unlock light armor. Spend my point on that. And you can see that leads to medium armor, which we might want to unlock as well at some point. And we also want to be sure that we have all of our people here are equipped. So he's our healer. What skills does he actually have? 1 backstab, 5 intelligence, 4 medic. Lowers chances of dying from wounds. Let's see. So he's pretty useless. We definitely need to give him some armor and some weapons. Do we have an extra weapon? We just picked up this bone spike armor. Oh, he's like super weak. Current and maximum weight of the equipment carried by this character. So he can pick up the buckler, but he can't carry the round shield. It's too heavy. He could equip this. See, that puts him at 88. And that gives him at least a little bit of defense and armor. Health and equipment. Yeah, so that defense, that gives him at least a little bit more survivability if we have to put him in a fight. This is 35, so he can't even equip the buckler and this, which I would love to have him do. Yeah, it's too heavy. So what about you? You have 70 left. I don't have any other weapons. Okay. You have 5 armor, that's it? What does feint do? Is that like a tactical thing? Yeah, it's a tactical thing. So this costs 120. So I'm much... So what if I take this off? 14 damage and 3 poison. So now you're only doing 4 damage. But I can give you some armor. Like this. This is 8 armor. That's too heavy for you. So you only have 5 health. Now you have 13 hit points. Which is a lot better than 5, which you had before. But you currently don't have a weapon. Okay. Yeah, we might be reshuffling a little bit more here. All right, so I still think that's better. What about... So I can stick you out there and not just have you immediately die. So you have lots of carrying capacity left. You already have a shield and a weapon. Okay, what about you? You have a 2-handed weapon. Oh, that's also a shield. I see. Okay. All right, well, you could use some armor. Can you... You can't quite equip this, can you? This is 14 armor. This is 4 armor, 7 defense, and 1 dexterity. Let's see. You can equip this. So we'll definitely do that. That gives you a bunch more health and some armor. Since you're a polearm guy, we're definitely going to want to have you have that. So do we want to give you... Who do we want to give this button to? So this is 4 armor, 7 defense, 1 dexterity. That's probably better than any of the other shields we could give him. Yeah, it is. But we can give... Oh, right. We can't give her a shield because she's using Okay, that's not too bad. He can't carry it. She can't carry it. He could carry it. So she has 10 equipment armor. She has 10 equipment armor. He only has 4. Alright, he's going to get this. Now he has 6 equipment armor. Alright, so he should be able to take at least 1 hit. Alright, and let's see. Let me go ahead and set up the gathering jobs for this, so just so you guys can see that before I end the episode. So, I don't want equipment. I want manage. So we'll do a gather job. So we can do 2 wood tasks and 1 vegetable task because those are the resources that we have here. Let's see if we want to. We definitely want to gather wood and vegetables. So we'll have the Clava gather vegetables. She'll still gather. So this says she gets 50 production. So she'll complete this once. Every time she completes this, we'll do that infinite amount of times. Every time she completes this, she's going to get, doesn't see, I'm not sure exactly how many. She's going to get 12 weight worth of vegetables. So we can see how many that is next time. And we'll have her do the wood. We'll do that infinite amount of times. So she crafts 70. She'll almost complete this twice. She gathers 70. With every turn. She'll complete it once, and then next turn she'll complete it twice and give us lots and lots of wood for our settlement. We have 1 more gatherer and 1 crafter. So we'll have our crafter. We'll have our crafter. Let's see. What I'd like to do is definitely make, let's start by making, can he make himself a craft tool? So we can use steel. Takes 4 steel. We don't have enough wood because we only left 1 wood here. So we're not going to be able to do that this turn. We took the rest of our wood out on our expedition to burn as fuel. So instead what we'll do is we will set up another gathering wood job since we have 2 sources of wood, and we'll have her do that as well. And she'll complete that once every turn. So that's going to give us a ton of wood. He's not going to be doing anything though until we have some more. Let's see. Sandstone. Okay. Yeah. So we don't have anywhere near enough resources to do this yet. We can use vegetables. We're going to need to discover a source of metal at some point. So we've got our 3 gather jobs. So they're going to be making resources every turn. What we could do here, we still have 2 movement left here. Let's go ahead and move these guys over to this treasure chest. And here we have, what is this, some sort of lair? Or no, just spiders. Okay. And now we can actually have these guys. Oh, it takes a movement point to camp. Okay, so since we moved using all of our movement points, we don't have a movement point left to camp. If you camp, I think you heal faster and you can gather resources. So we might want to save a movement point to do that next turn. All right, well, that's going to do it for the first episode and for the first turn. Hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. If you do, since this is the first episode of a series, please consider liking the video. It really helps out and lets me know that you're interested in this game. In the meantime, I will be back tomorrow with another episode, so I will see you guys then. And until then, have a terrific day.